Oh, okay. I couldn't hear anything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, so what's your grief here?
What's my what? My grief?
Yes.
Well, I don't have one. I'm here because you sent me a link.
Yeah, you clearly have a problem with what I was saying. You didn't understand what I was getting at, and you made some accusations towards me that I don't appreciate. So why don't you explain them?
Wait a minute, one moment. Well, I already explained them in the comment.
But you didn't back them up. You said I threatened somebody to convert, and you never once proved that.
Yes, I did. It's 444 in the video.
The 444 mark was not in any way, shape, or form. I said he doesn't get to negotiate. That's not the same as a threat. Do you not know what a threat is?
That's a threat.
No, that's not a threat. Saying you don't get to negotiate isn't the same as saying I'm going to kick your teeth in.
That's a threat.
Do you not know what a threat is? Are you too stupid to understand the word threat?
That's a threat.
Define threat.
Actually,
define threat.
Actually, it's more of a statement more than a threat. So, yeah.
Define threat.
Saying you don't have a choice is a threat.
No, saying you don't have a choice is not a threat. If a cop sits you down and says you don't have a choice but to be here, is that a threat?
Yeah.
No, it's not a threat. You literally don't know what threat is.
It's threat if you don't comply, there are consequences.
No, that is not a you are kidding. Hold on.
That dude.
Hold on, I think I finally found your comment.
Wait. How is that even a threat in the goal of converting someone? I don't get it. Because it doesn't ask you to repent or anything. So how did you get to that fucking...
Okay. Here's what a threat is. A statement of an intent to inflict pain, injury, damage, or other hostile action on someone in retribution for something done or not done. A person or thing likely to cause damage or danger. Now define how I threatened him.
Because you said, okay, he said he didn't believe in God, and you said that he didn't have any right to negotiate. And being a Christian, we understand the implication. It doesn't have to be a physical threat. It doesn't have to be a threat of physical violence.
It says a statement of an intention to inflict pain, injury, damage, or hostile action.
Threats don't have to be physical. You don't have to beat someone up.
I'm going to look up the definition of threat. Hold on.
You literally
there are
don't
many ways you can threaten someone.
I wasn't looking to convert him, you mental infant.
Okay, look, hold on. This is the definition of threat. A statement of an intention to inflict pain, injury, damage, or other hostile action on someone in retribution for something done or not done. What Leo did wasn't a threat. By definition,
does it say physical in there anywhere?
The rage of God isn't an actual threat.
Okay, so tell me what non-physical threat I made to him.
Excuse me?
Tell me what non-physical threat I made to him.
Well, it was really vague, but you still made it.
No, I'm not vague about when I threatened somebody. That is so stupid. When have I ever been vague about anything?
Like an actual example would be, well, you were doxing him, and you were threatening him because he wasn't calling his mother.
I was threatening to call the police on him, and I still will. Again, I wasn't being vague here, kiddo. I was being very direct. I can't do vague. I am incapable of vagueness. I am too blunt for it.
Okay, well, in that case, when you said he doesn't have room to negotiate, what were you doing?
Being facetious and telling him to sit down and shut up. But
you were asking him. You were asking him a question, so why would you tell him to then sit down and shut up?
Do you not understand what facetious means?
Yeah, I think I do.
Well, you thought you understood what threat meant, and clearly you didn't know that one either.
No, I know what threat means. You're
No,
just
apparently you don't.
dancing around it.
No, I'm not dancing around it, kid. I know what threat means. If I wanted to threaten him, I would have.
Okay, define facetious.
Come on, Deja.
Now I can't really think of it.
Just look it up on your phone. Like,
Hilarious.
I mean,
It's like, I don't know, is it like being sarcastic or like not being serious?
Treating serious. It's the definition of facetious is treating serious issues with deliberately inappropriate humor or being flippant. Guess what that was? Inappropriate humor and being flippant.
Well, I don't feel like that was an appropriate
I don't
thing
care
to do.
how you feel. You don't know what threat means. You don't know what facetious means. You're accusing me of dancing around it when I am far from capable of doing such a thing. All because you got upset that I didn't act to him like you would want me to. I wasn't there to convert him. I wasn't there to bring him to church. I was there to take him to task for being a predator. And your biggest gripe was the fact that I said mean things to him. Where do your morals lie exactly?
I'm just saying that if there was any hope of him changing, you've made that harder.
Then he can find it in prison where he belongs.
I just don't think that's the attitude you should have.
I don't care. I don't care what you think about my attitude because it's based on nothing.
Well,
it is based on literally nothing. You don't know
that's
what threat
the end
means.
of this conversation then, because we don't agree. So I'm just gonna leave. Bye.
Yeah, you coward.
I'm not a coward. There's really nothing else we can say to each other.
Biblically, that's wrong. You're a coward and a liar.
No, being full of rage is a sin.
Young lady, I'm not full of rage. I'm full
No,
of.
Who's the one yelling?
I'm yelling because I'm
because you
driving,
keep
you moron.
Sorry.
Yelling does not mean someone's full of rage. In this case, it's to make sure you hear me because my headset's garbage.
All right, well, that's the end of the conversation. There's nothing else I have to say.
You are objectively a liar and a coward. Don't
I'm
you
not
ever
a liar
talk.
and a coward because I came
Yes,
to
you
talk.
are.
You
How? I came here to talk, so what makes me a coward?
You accused me of threatening somebody without knowing what threatening is and without evidence to prove your statement. And this is after you lied about other things because you couldn't be smart enough to look at what
I did bring evidence, but you're refuting the evidence. So
because the
if
evidence
you don't believe me,
you idiot,
then that's perfectly fine. I'm fine. That's how it's going to end.
This isn't about belief, you moron. This is about what did and did not objectively happen. And you're too stupid to realize you're wrong, you moron.
Also, you said that he threatened the guy to convert him, which was not true at all.
That's the way I saw it.
Well, the way you saw it is wrong.
Okay, this guy is not wrong.
That was yelled so loud I couldn't understand it.
You are wrong.
Pigs don't fly. Dogs don't mate with cats. And you are an absurd idiot.
What? All right.
No, by your standards, if somebody says that a dog mates with a cat, that's just their opinion. They can't be wrong, right?
Well, no, that's factually wrong. That can't happen.
You're factually wrong that I threatened somebody.
No, I think you did.
Okay, tell me what threat. Hold on. Let's go through this one more time. Tell me what threat I made. Tell me what I threatened him with.
You threatened him with saying that if he doesn't convert, then he'll face the consequences of whatever.
When did I say that? Because it wasn't at the mark you told me.
You said he doesn't have room to negotiate.
I said he doesn't have room to negotiate. Now tell me where the threat.
What are the consequences for not negotiating?
Tell me where the consequence is, because you're the one stating there was one.
Well, I mean, if you're a Christian and you believe and you don't believe in these things, and hell is ultimate consequence.
Yeah, and that is up to whom?
What?
Well, that's up to him.
No. It's up to God.
Well, he has to believe these things.
No.
And I'm just saying the entire point of my argument is that, if he ever stood a chance of believing in God, then
your argument
this conversation that you had with him has made it that much harder.
I don't care because your argument is asinine. It is not rudimented in fact. It is not.
So you don't care about what happens to him at all.
Oh, I care about what happens to him. I want him to go to jail. I've been very clear about that.
Okay, well that makes sense. But I'm talking about other than that.
The fact that you're concerned about hold on. The fact that you're concerned about other than that right now, when we have a predator loose that we have yet to figure out the address of, tells me you're more worried about his feelings than you are about what's going on here.
No, I care very much. That's why I had to say what I had to say.
No, you said what you had to say because you were worried about your moral prattling than you were about the fact that he's a literal predator.
No, because for one thing, I don't care if you're doxing him, if that's how you want to get his information. I have nothing against that. I'm just saying that when it comes to
that's stupid.
Being a believer in God, that this could have gone a lot better.
No, that's not what
you care at all about. No, that's if you care at all about the destination of this man's soul, then
now you're assuming.
You wouldn't threaten him with Jesus Christ.
I didn't threaten him, you idiot. We've been through this.
Now you're just assuming about a whole bunch of people you don't know.
What do you mean? I'm only talking about Leo. I don't know who any of you are. Who
you don't know his religious opinion.
Okay, so tell me, was my point in getting into that conversation to convert him?
Well, no, it wasn't your point, but I feel like that was a wrong thing to say.
I don't
like as far as the rest of the conversation goes, I don't care because if you feel like he's that much of a predator that you need to get his information and he wasn't cooperating, that's fine because I've listened to you in all these other streams and I've never had a problem with you. It's just I feel like in this case, we've got this mentally ill person who already doesn't believe in God and is like, oh, okay, you're probably the first Christian he's ever come across.
Are
you serious?
In America? Are you retarded?
The fuck are you on about?
Hold on.
I said you might be. You have to think of yourself as the first Christian he's come across. And we have to present ourselves a certain way to these people.
Point of order. Number one, statistically, that is nigh impossible. Secondly, and again, I'm going back to this. You accused me of threatening him. You specifically said that it was some Saudi Arabia 7th century nonsense. I never once threatened that man. Not with violence, not with anything. The fact that you have yet to tell me what the consequences that I supposed were is very telling. You put that out there because what I said hurt your feelings and it offended you. This isn't about
the consequence is hell. That's what the consequence is.
And hold on. Whom delivers that consequence?
God does.
Then I'm not making a threat, am I?
Well, no, actually, yes, you are. Because those are the consequences of sin.
I am. Okay, so
actually,
hold on. So when Peter and Paul went to people and said, hellfire awaits you, or is he threatening them?
Well, you see, it's about how you deliver the message. So you can't go to someone and say that you have no choice. They're just going to resist even harder.
Hate to tell you this, but the Bible even backs that one up.
What does it say?
Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess.
Yeah, at the end when it's too late to change your mind.
At the end when it's too late. And in this case, my statement was, again, I will say this again, I want you to open your ears and pay very close attention. Facetious. First and foremost. I am not the first Christian this man's run across. And my point was not to try to seek and save his soul in this case. My point in this specific stream with this specific individual is to find out where he lives and to find out how to report him to the police properly because he's a predator. The fact that your first and only inclination throughout the entirety of the stream was to get upset over an imagined threat speaks more about your lack of character and your lack of theological understanding than it ever will mine.
No, because I never had a problem with you getting his information.
Oh my God, your superiority complex is so far up your own ass, you can smell your...
I can't understand you.
Yeah, we have that problem with him pretty often, but what he's saying is that you have a superiority complex. You want to swing at me.
Don't.
Yeah, you clearly do, because you want to swing at me about me saying some one mean thing, because first off, you start with about 2 or 3 accusations, and now it's down to 1, And now that one you can't even substantiate because you can't even tell me what the threat is.
No, I gave you proof, but you're not going to take it.
That's not proof of a threat. That's like saying that because I have a Toyota Corolla in front of me, that's evidence that the person, I don't know, runs over deer.
No, that doesn't make any sense. That is a terrible analogy.
And so is your statement. So is your statement. You said he couldn't negotiate. That's a threat. That's not a threat, you moron.
It is a threat.
Actually, the guy threatened Leo with violence.
If you have no threat, if you have no choice of negotiation, then that means either you do as I say or you suffer consequences.
No,
well, what's the consequences?
I already said it's hell.
Oh my god, no! I can shut it down so easily.
Okay. Look, but here's the thing: Leo does not have the power to throw people into hell. He's not God. He can't make that judgment call. So
I know. I'm saying that if as a Christian, you have to present these things in a certain way. Otherwise, all you're going to do is make people turn away.
No. Wait. A threat is a two-path streak. You can either choose to comply or you don't. What Leo said was a statement of what was going to happen, which is single path. So what you're saying is fucking asinine.
No.
English, motherfucker, do you speak?
Yeah, I'm speaking it right now. I'm just saying that.
Look how.
Are you sure about
I'm saying that the way he presents this argument is not going to convert anyone anytime soon.
That wasn't his
goal. I understand now that he had no meanings to. He doesn't really care about what happens to him at all. He just wants to.
Then apologize and admit that you were wrong.
No, I'm not apologizing because I still think he threatened him.
No, you were wrong.
Stop. But you can't tell me. You tell me that I threatened him with something supernatural. Do you realize how asinine that is?
No, if you believe it, then
No, if I believe it, then if I believe it, then I understand that as a destination of every single human being that does not follow God's law. That is not a threat. That is an inevitability. Just like death is. Just like
I know. So I'm just saying
that
the way you presented this to him,
I don't care.
Was not the proper way to do it.
Was I?
And I was fine.
Yes or no question.
And I was okay with everything else.
Yes or no question. Was I trying to convert him?
At that moment, I thought you were.
Why?
And you're wrong. And you're wrong, which means that your entire precipice of taking issue with how I was approaching that from a conversion viewpoint is completely felonious. It is wrong. It is incorrect by its very nature, and yet you're still trying to grasp onto the idea that I threatened him, not because you're right, but because you don't want to admit that you're wrong.
No, I'm still holding on to what I believe because you can say the wrong thing to people.
Your English was wrong. Everything you thought was wrong. You didn't even come from the right angle.
Hold on. Let her finish.
No, I've already said what I want to say about 3 times over.
Well, let me ask you this: like, how should Leo have done it if he was trying to convert him? I'm curious.
I'm just saying, since he wasn't trying to convert him, then he shouldn't.
Okay, but how should he have done it?
Jesus into the conversation at all.
How should he have done it? If he was.
Well, you tell him that he's a sinner and that he has to convert.
Has to.
Hey, could you please repent from your sins?
That he's fallen short of God's expectations of him, and that ultimately the road is going to lead him to hell, and that he has to believe in the Lord Jesus Christ.
Okay, so you're a Christian, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Then let me be very clear here. Few things. Number one, as one Christian to another, what you've done is you've borne false witness against objectively incorrect information. Number two, do you know how you're supposed to deal with a conflict within a church body?
You bring it up to the elders, or you bring it up to the person who's caused the problem.
You talk to the person who's caused the problem directly. If that does not solve the problem, you bring a witness in front of them and you try it again. If that doesn't work,
none of these are things that you did.
Am I talking?
So what's the point of bringing this up at all?
Because if you and I
But
are the same
okay,
theology,
you know what? Never mind. Okay, I'll just
Leo
apologize
talk.
because I completely misunderstood what you were going for
that's
in that
fine. But
conversation.
let me finish here. All right. What I'm getting at here is if you and I are the same theology, and you did not approach this as a theological issue that you were
Yes, I
supposed to bring.
did. I mean,
No,
I
let
spoke
me
to you in a
finish.
comment.
Let me finish. Let me finish. You did not speak to me in the comments. You made a public post. You did not come to me in private, as the Bible says we are supposed to. You made it a public issue way before then. Had you actually followed the scriptural doctrine you are trying to tell me I didn't, we would not be in this situation right now, and you wouldn't be looking as foolish as you are in front of everybody.
What's happening? Who's looking for?
Well, I don't feel particularly foolish, but
You
you do
should.
make a good point. I should have brought it up to you in private first. So for that, I apologize. But
It's because you snipped your own part.
I've run out of time, so I'm just gonna leave. But you know, that's how it is.
Oh,
Well, God be with
you.
Feel free to
What
stay
a-
in this.
Apology
What a-
accepted.
But okay,
God be with you.
I apologize. It's just a misunderstanding.
Apology
So
accepted.
I'm just gonna awkwardly leave now because I don't know how to end calls.
Okay.
Wow, I missed a
Hilarious.
lot, didn't I? Fuck's sake.
It's fun, man.
I came in right at the end, didn't I? What was that?
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
What happened? So what did she do?
Oh,
How
good
come
lord.
Okay.
looking-
Hold on. What she did